Welcome to day 4 of the Japan Saga. Today, I had nothing on the agenda, so I just winged it. And let me tell you, I ended up way more exhausted than on my planned days. I kicked things off at the Osaka castle bright and early, snagging my ticket almost as soon as they opened. Quick tip, depending on the time of the year that you visit, you might want to grab your tickets online to skip the line. Now, I'm not going to give you a full tour because I'm not that good at writing scripts, but I'll hit you with some cool bits of history so you know more than the average tourist if you go check it yourself. Osaka Castle is stacked with 8 floors of historical awesomeness. Down on the first floor, there's a shop and an info booth where you can pick an audio guide. Just show them some ID. Your passport will do the trick. From the 2nd to the 7th floor, it's like a time machine showing you how the castle was built and rebuilt over the different time periods. The 3rd and 4th floors are kind of special. They have personal items from people who lived in the castle, and unfortunately, no photos or videos are allowed since the historical artifacts are very delicate. And then, floors 5 through 7 dive into the epic battles that helped shape the history of Osaka. Alright, buckle up, little weeblets, gather around. Remember that Japan is not only about manga and anime or whatever things you degenerates consume. Let's dive into the riveting story of the Osaka Castle, a story deeply intertwined with the lives of 3 legendary figures: Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Tokugawa Hidetada. The castle isn't just a bunch of walls and moats, it's a monument to the dreams and dramas of those who shaped Japan. The tale kicks off with Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the man behind the original construction of Osaka Castle in 1583. Picture this, a castle so grand it was meant to shout his power across Japan and serve as his home base to bring the whole country under one rule. And get this, Hideyoshi's start in life was as modest as they come. I mean, the guy began as a sandal bearer to Oda Nobunaga, a big shot daimyo at the time. But Hideyoshi wasn't just any ordinary dude. He was loaded with talent, ambition, and enough charisma to light up a room. He quickly climbed the ranks, gaining prominence under Nobunaga as a shogun. And after Nobunaga's dramatic demise, Hideyoshi didn't just fill his shoes, he sprinted in them, seizing the title of shogun and pushing forward with his grand plan. Osaka Castle stands on what once was the site of the Ishiyama Hoanji Temple, which Nobunaga bulldozed in his quest to tighten his grip on power. The castle conceived by Hideyoshi was a fortress to behold. With colossal stone walls and several moats, it was practically untouchable and served as Hideyoshi's command center. After Hideyoshi passed away in 1598, his followers were left scrambling, creating a ripe situation for power grabs. Enter Tokugawa Ieyasu, sharp, ambitious, and once a loyal vassal of Nobunaga, but later a competitor of Hideyoshi. Ieyasu was quick to act, stepping into the spotlight after his victory of the Battle of Sekiwara in the 1600s, a brutal 6-hour clash that claimed about 30,000 lives. When you visit the castle, you'll see woodblock paintings, models, and video clips depicting these and other historic battles. Despite Ieyasu's triumph, the embers of loyalty to Hideyoshi is still burned among many, centered around Osaka Castle where Hideyoshi's son, Toyotomi Hideyori, lived. The tension culminated in the infamous Siege of Osaka, a violent confrontation stretching from 1614 to 1615. In the winter campaign of 1614, Ieyasu pounced on the castle, pressing Hideyori into a peace agreement that involved dismantling the outer moat. However, peace was fleeting, and by the summer campaign of 1615, fighting broke out again, ultimately leading to the castle downfall and the end of the Toyotomi bloodline. With the Toyotomi clan no longer a threat, Tokugawa Hidetada, Ieyasu's son, and the new shogun, rolled up his sleeves to rebuild and beef up Osaka Castle. This reconstruction was more than just a renovation. It was the key part of a large scheme to cement the Tokugawa regime's stability. Hidetada didn't just patch up the castle. He doubled down on his dad's strategies to centralize power and tighten the social hierarchy, kickstarting what we now call the Edo period. The Edo period running from 1603 to 1868 under the Tokugawa shogunate was a mixed bag. Honestly, it brought some great stuff, but also had its downside. On the upside, this era saw the Pax Tokugawa, a long stretch of peace that Japan hadn't seen in ages. The shogunate tight control cut down on the constant battles that had torn the country apart, letting people and the economy catch a much-needed break. Kind of. This peace allowed economic activities to boom. Agriculture got a tech upgrade with new techniques and crops, which boosted production. Big-time cities, especially castle towns like Osaka and Edo, now Tokyo, saw major growth. This period was also a golden age for Japanese culture. Ukiyo-e art, kabuki theater, and haiku poetry flourished, and education and scholarship got a boost from the promotion of Neo-Confucianism as the official ideology. Plus, the shogunate poured resources into infrastructure, laying down roads and bridges, and beefing up transportation networks that tied the country together, making it easier to move goods and people around. This period really shaped Japan in some fundamental ways, laying down a foundation that would affect the country for centuries to come. However, the Edo period wasn't all cherry blossoms and peaceful streets. It brought its share of challenges that put a chokehold on social mobility, economic flexibility, and intellectual growth. The Tokugawa shogunate had a tight grip on society with a rigid class system. Samurai on top, and then pretty much everyone else. This setup kept everyone in their place, making it tough for folks to climb the social ladder, leading to frustration and discontent among the lower classes, particularly the merchants who had the cash but not the clout. While the shogunate policy initially sparked economic growth, they eventually backfired, straining finances across the board. The Sankin Kotai system, which required lords, or daimyo, to live in Edo every other year and maintain residences there, was a massive drain on their resources, not to mention a headache for those managing places like the Osaka castle. Then there was the Sakoku, or the national seclusion policy, which slammed the door on most foreign trade and kept both foreigners and Japanese from crossing the country's border. This isolation kept Japan a few steps behind Western powers technologically and scientifically, a gap that was glaringly obvious by the time Japan was pried open in the mid-19th century. Despite a renaissance in traditional art during the Edo period, heavy censorship and tight control over intellectual life smothered innovation and critical thinking. The lack of fresh ideas from beyond Japan's shores also didn't help. All these factors combined to fortify the Tokugawa regime for a time, but also saw the seeds of its downfall, paving the way for sweeping changes of the Meiji Restoration. And that wraps up our history lesson for today. After wrapping up my Adio tour and soaking in the spectacular views from the 8th floor, I headed over the Kyoto Figure Museum. I would have loved to show you around with my camera, but they have a strict no video recording policy. Luckily, they do allow photography, so you can still get a glimpse of the amazing figures they've got on display through the pictures I took. Right after that, I made my way to Osaka iconic Tsutenkaku Tower. Unfortunately, I forgot to record my way there, and I remember until I hit the observatory deck. Luckily, I snagged a free admission to the tower thanks to the Kansai pass I picked up with my Universal Studios ticket. Actually, the pass also covered a bunch of other activities during my day in Kansai. So, if you're planning a trip to Universal Studios, you might want to consider grabbing the Have Fun in Kansai pass. It gets you into several observatories for free and offers some sweet discounts at various shops and restaurants. Diving into a bit of history, the original Tsutenkaku Tower was built back in 1912. That was the one that drew inspiration from the Eiffel Tower. If you take a look at this old photo from 1930, it looks like a chubby Eiffel Tower. Standing at 64 meters, it was part of Luna Park, an amusement park designed to bring a slice of Western entertainment and flair to Osaka. The design of Tsutenkaku was a testament to Japan's fascination with Western culture and technology during the rapid modernization of the Meiji and Taisho periods. The tower was quite the marvel with its steel frame structure, a cutting-edge architectural feat in Japan at the time, showcasing the country's adoption of Western engineering techniques. Plus, its observatory deck offers sweeping panoramic views of Osaka, quickly turning Tsutenkaku in a must-visit destination for tourists and locals alike. Unfortunately, the original tower met a sad fate. It was damaged by a fire in 1943 and had to be dismantled during World War II because of metal shortages. The steel was repurposed for the war effort. But Osaka's love for the Tsutenkaku didn't wane. After the war, there was a strong public push to rebuild the iconic symbol of the city. In response to this affection, the new Tsutenkaku Tower was erected in 1956. The man behind the revival was Tochu Naito, a renowned architect also credited with designing the Tokyo Tower. Standing tall at 108 meters, the new Tsutenkaku overshadows its predecessor in height and boasts a design that beautifully blends modern influence with traditional Japanese elements. Adding a touch of mystique, the tower houses a statue and shrine of the Shinto god Biliken, which I mentioned in the last video. Today, the Tsutenkaku is more than just a tower. It's a testament to Osaka's ability to bounce back and evolve, keeping its historical spirit alive while embracing modern trends. I also took a night tour of the Dotonbori Canal, which honestly left me a bit disappointed. I was hoping for some backstory, more sport, something, you know? So let me fill you in with my own take on it. The Dotonbori Canal started off as a simple waterway but has morphed into a bustling hub of entertainment and gastronomy over the centuries. Its story begins in 1612, when a local entrepreneur named Nariyasu Doton dreamed up a plan to connect the Umezu River and the Yokobori River to boost local trade. Sadly, Doton didn't get to see his vision completed as he died during the siege of Osaka Castle. But his legacy didn't end with him. The project was completed by Yasui Kuhe and Hirano Tojiro in 1615, who named it Dotonbori, or Doton's Canal, to honor his memory. Flash forward to the other period, the Dotonbori Canal had transformed into a vibrant entertainment district. By the mid-1600s, it was the place for theater and drama, home to numerous kabuki and bunraku or puppet theater venues. Its popularity only soared from there, with a proliferation of restaurants and cafes that catered to ever-growing crowd or theater-goers and tourists, laying the groundwork for its modern-day fame as a foodie's paradise. Stepping into the 20th century, Dotonbori really cemented its place as a major tourist and entertainment hotspot. The arrival of flashy billboards and neon signs in the 1930s kicked its lively atmosphere up a notch. One of its most iconic landmarks is the Glider Running Man. Popped up in 1935 and quickly became a symbol not just of Dotonbori, but Osaka itself, capturing the vibrant dynamic spirit of the city. The canal itself has seen some major facelifts over the years, which have really helped cement Dotonbori's reputation as a cultural and economic hotspot. The walkways along the canal have been modernized and widened, turning it into a prime spot for leisurely strolls and some serious shopping. Today, Dotonbori is pretty much a spectacle with its flashy neon lights, over-the-top signage, and a culinary scene that's a feast for the senses, ranging from quirky street food vendors to high-end gourmet spots. Although the canal isn't the main artery for commerce or transportation anymore, it still plays a vital role in the area's drainage system. Plus, it's become a hotspot for boat tours that offer a unique way to experience the glow of this neon-lit district from the water. Sadly, again, the tour I took was a bit of a letdown. It just didn't deliver the rich, engaging stories you expect from such a historically vital place. So, the story of the Dotonbori Canal is really a snapshot of Osaka's larger narrative of economic and cultural evolution. It shows how the city has managed to keep adapting and thriving, rolling with the punches through various historical shifts. Before wrapping up my day, I hit 2 more stops, starting with the Osaka Castle illumination at Nishimaru Garden. Running from mid-November to mid-February, this dazzling event draws you into the world of shoguns and samurai, with its twinkling lights and captivating storytelling. This year, Illuminage took its inspiration from the stories past of Osaka Castle, an enduring symbol of Japan's rich cultural heritage. As you wander through the displays, you're whisked back to the era of shoguns and samurai, surrounded by scenes that bring the Sengoku period vividly to life. Some of the standout features include a full-body samurai warrior exhibit and an impressively life-size illumination of a Namben ship, modeled after the historical ships that opened Japan to international trade during the Muromachi and Edo periods. And here's the coolest part. You don't just get to look, you can actually step aboard and explore the deck of the ship. Okay, no. But there are pretty lights displaying Japan's rich history. Additionally, The event branches out into the Osaka Illumination Tourist Spot series, which lights up some of the city's iconic landmarks like Tsutenkaku and Dotonbori. Imagine seeing a three-dimensional light sculpture of a takoyaki. That's right, Osaka's famous street food delicacy, glowing alongside an array of historic and cultural exhibits. Plus, you get a stunning view of the Osaka Castle as a backdrop, all lit up under the stars. The Illuminage runs every night from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., but just a heads up, the light displays turn off at 9:30. It's a ticketed event at 2,000 Japanese yen for adults. It's definitely a magical way to see Osaka in a different light. With some time left in the day, I decided to wrap things up at the Umeda Sky Building, nestled in Osaka Umeda district. This structure is a beacon of modern architecture and urban planning, easily one of the most striking landmarks in the city. Finished in 1993 and crafted by the visionary architect Hiroshi Hara, the Umeda Sky Building features two 40-story towers, each soaring to a height of 173 meters. These are linked at the top by the Floating Garden Observatory, which offers a breathtaking 360-degree panoramic view of Osaka. This building wasn't just about aesthetics, it was a key part of a broader urban development project that aimed to breathe new life into the Umeda area. The design of the Umeda Sky Building really pushes the envelope, sporting a futuristic vibe that was way ahead of its time back in the early 90s. The towers are bridged by an escalator system that spans a wide atrium-like space in the center, creating the illusion of a floating structure. This ingenious setup doesn't just offer incredible views from the observatory, it also floods the interior spaces with natural light, enhancing the sense of openness in space. The Umeda Sky Building's facade, a sleek blend of glass and steel, mirrors the urban landscape and morphs visually with the changing weather and light, making it a dynamic spectacle throughout the day. Its reflective surface and unique silhouette have turned it into a sought-after subject for photographers and a symbol of modernity in Osaka. The observatory at the top, known as the Floating Garden, isn't just your typical garden. Instead, it's an open-air deck framed with green spaces that offer a peaceful retreat high above the bustling city. This spot is particularly magical in the evening, when the city lights below weave a captivating tapestry of light and color, making it a favorite among visitors looking to escape the urban frenzy. The Umeda Sky Building has evolved beyond a mere architectural marvel. It's a cultural icon of Osaka, embodying the city's economic vitality and forward-looking architectural ambitions. It frequently graces promotional materials and has been featured in various international publications, celebrated for its distinctive architecture. Inside, the building offers a mix of facilities, including office spaces, eateries, and a movie theater, catering to a diverse crowd. During my visit, it also hosted a Christmas market, which added a layer of festive charms to the sophisticated atmosphere. And that wraps up today's adventure. Next week, we embark on a new journey to Kyoto. I'm the Beardbro Mexican. Keep watching anime. Bye.